Happy Sunday, apprentices. Have you ever had a 10% winning week and then you move the next week and then now you're stuck in 14% drawdown? Well, that's what's next on today's show. Trading Forex or any other financial instrument carries substantial risk. The topics discussed on this show are the views of the host and the producers only. You should consult with your financial planner before investing in Forex or any other financial instrument. Don't be a dumbass.
Welcome to Day Trading Plumber, episode 39. I'm Matt Simpson, and I am in audio hell. It feels like I'm in a spaceship, upside down. That's all I have.
Upside down? There was no clever ending to that?
No, that's
well, we're in my new dining room, kitchen / living room, because I had to considerably downsize. But, you know, the new office will be constructed hopefully next week after some traveling, and, you know, Matt is definitely going to be involved because I don't want to buy the wrong table and then we get audio noise.
Then you have to hear about it, bud.
Yeah, and then I'll have to return it and get a rubber mat table. But it, you know, the room's carpeted. We'll put some padding on the walls and, you know, be the backdrop of my new office, and I'm going to ramp up my presence on YouTube. So any of you out there that are super clever at YouTube, hey, hit me up. I'll trade you some trading knowledge for some YouTube knowledge, because the more I dig into that channel, I'm way behind some of these people. You know, they got cool photos that you got to make at 190 centimeters wide, and, you know, it's a challenge. Some people think they're just going to play Call of Duty on Twitch, put it on YouTube, and have 1 million followers, but it doesn't work that way.
The landscape has changed, though, because they lost Joe Rogan to Spotify this week.
Out of YouTube?
Yes, sir.
So what Spotify said, you are ours, no more YouTube channel.
That's correct.
Really?
Yep.
How much is that motherfucker making?
Dude.
Because he probably said, you know what? If you want just me on Spotify, I want 10 million.
No, you want me on only Spotify.
Right. So Spotify is just grabbing JRE, right?
Yep. Probably grab another talent. It's been compared to when Howard Stern went to Sirius XM.
Yeah, for 100 million.
Right. And what was that, 2000?
Yeah. And did Sirius XM ever even do anything?
Oh, yeah, dude. They're huge.
Come on, dude.
They recently bought Pandora. That's a massive operation, bud.
Well, yes, only because when you buy a new car, you get it for free. And then when your free year is up, they just start charging you. I mean, is that any way to get a customer? Apparently it is. Hey, you get your first month free, but you got to give us your credit card, and then we're going to bill you on the 15th of every month. So then it catches you off guard, and then we already billed you for the month, so it gives you that 30-day, I'll do it next month. And then, man, no, another month. I personally don't think tricking your clients into accidentally, like my wife, or I guess ex-wife, she would sign up for anything, right? Like that Proactive V face wash. It'd be like, I'm going to cancel it next month. Well, the billing cycle is on the 10th of every month. So it was just like, so then 9 months go by before you could finally cancel the damn, you got face wash coming out your ass. It's everywhere in the house.
That's part of Rodan and Fields, another MLM that I'm not a fan of.
Right. I mean,
because I'm not a fan of any of them.
Hey, if I made Proactive V, they had a good 10-year run. I mean, people still swear by it, and, you know, it probably made gazillions.
Speaking of ripping people off, I discovered in one of the robot channels that I follow in Telegram.
Oh.
The old copy and paste job. And what I did was I zoomed in. So this is a Telegram channel similar to ours.
61,000
people
in it.
Right, subscribers. It's a free subscription for basically just to get pitched every hour or so. What they're doing is they have MT4 results, but they've creatively...
It's the phone app, too.
It's the phone app, right? And they've screenshot it, and they've creatively cropped it. And it was yesterday, I think, that I zoomed in because I was curious. And I zoomed in, and I noticed a few things. Last week, we talked about how they don't have drawdown, that they don't ever show. But yesterday, I zoomed in really close, and I could see the off-color white, which indicated to me that they were cutting and pasting numbers. So what they're doing is they're taking blue, which shows profit, right? They're taking blue numbers off something, anything, probably another MT4 account that they're running, whatever that value is. They're copying and pasting it onto their MT4, and they're lining it up just right. But good old Matt caught him, and now I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. But I am enraged because they have 61,000 in their channel.
It just goes to show you the lengths that people will go to deceive people.
Because this is hard.
Well, trading is hard, especially consistently. I mean, anyone. I could start, all right, I'm a numbers guy. Start 4 demos, okay? Take the opposite trades on 2 of them. Split, quarter up the 28 pairs or the majors, right? So one of those accounts is going to be amazing. Copy and paste. I'm in 6 winning trades, right? You got a guy on your payroll to copy and paste, make it look good, fuzz out the drawdown. I just don't get, like, I see, our listeners are probably getting tired of the same, but like I see people post on like Instagram, like a Ferrari in the background, their phone, like, if you want to learn how to do this, call me. And they get like 2,000 likes and views, mostly because they're probably paying these Instagram idiots that reach out to me all the time. Hey, I see you have 2,000 followers. You want some more? You'll pay me 10 cents a follower I get you, right? And these are the assholes that go on comments of trading. Like, Clayton Allen's really changed my life. Follow him here, right? The bullshit. You look at the MT4 app on their phone, and they're in 19 of the exact same trade, like maybe a fractional pip different. And they're all profitable, obviously, because you picked one trade and you put it in 19 times. And then they're like, if you want this in your life, call fucking ice machine. Call Chad over at FX Toaster. I feel sorry because, people get sucked into that, right? And then they just get a bad taste in their mouth because it never comes to fruition. And, they design their courses and everything as if they never really make a decision. There's a guy I follow on TradingView that has really sound technical analysis, but it's such a big view. And he's always like, well, the structure, it's telling us this. And let's go to the monthly chart. And if it goes, but it's never precise enough to where you can really call him out like, hey, dude, you were wrong on this. Well, no, because I said if it didn't get to that level, it would, it's just like the art of misdeception. Making people think you made a decision, but you didn't really make a decision.
Misdeception?
It's a new word. I called Webster today and was like, hey, dude, can we throw this in the dictionary next revision? He's like, yeah, I like it.
All right, I stand corrected.
People will get the point. That's not what today's show is about. Let's talk about change. It's no secret, unless this is your first time listening to the show. Some people start with the newest one and work their way backwards. I get it. It's not how I roll. But if you are new to the show, welcome. We love new listeners.
If you don't understand the GOAT, episode 11.
Right. It's Matt's favorite episode. But yeah, this is a show about a guy, me, Clayton, who used to be a plumber. Well, once plumber, always plumber, who is now a full-time trader. I'm recently going through a lot of personal changes. Separation with the wife after 11 years. I just moved this week, selling the house, putting a roof on it. It's thrown me off. And, I had a really good week trading last week. This week, I'll tell you, it's been a struggle to even get to the charts. I went up 3.3% in the first day this week, but got caught in some drawdown. And then that drawdown caused stress, and me knowing I was going into moving for 2 days and not going to be, I set a stop loss because I couldn't watch the trades. And of course, price shot down, hit the stop loss, took my 3% that I was already up for the week. And then 45 minutes later shot up and would have been the rollover trade of the week to get me out of this damn Euro AUD drawdown mess that started 2 weeks ago. Change can throw you off. I'm not just talking trading, but we'll definitely come back to trading references. Let's go back to my plumbing days. Okay, one of the biggest changes that I remember was when Colorado adopted IPC code from the UPC. And most states now, I think, are adopting the International Plumbing Code over the Uniformed Plumbing Code. And now it's kind of a badge of honor. When you see a plumber, you're like, are you IPC or UPC? And I'm like, dude, I'm UPC. Because to get your journeyman's license under UPC, you had to take a practical test. Meaning they didn't let you take the written if you couldn't fucking solder. Well, now you don't have to solder. You don't have to build a little contraption that fits in this jig. And if it was an eighth of an inch off, they throw it in the trash. And they're like, well, we'll see you next time. And a lot of the other things changed. How you do waste to vet, for instance. Well, in the IPC code, and what's really funny is it works either way. But, someone in a position of power was like, I don't like when you're running to a water closet and you just roll the Y on its back and you can vent that water. You can wet vent that water closet off a rolled Y up to the left. And that's how we all did it. And it used to save a lot of ceiling space, especially in a high rise, right? Architects are like, you got to fit that plumbing in 12 inches of space.
Does that architect have glasses?
Always. And they're always round or square and tinted pink or, like Einstein. But then when we adopted the IPC, now you had to run to the wall. You had to run to the backside of the wall, go vertical, and then put a santee in the vertical to catch the water closet. So now the ceiling space just grew foot and a half, maybe, 18 inches. So it was funny because right when that change happened here in Denver, we're like, well, they've adopted IPC, so there's no more of this. So in the coordination process, you're like, well, I got to run the pipes such and such way. I need more ceiling space. Now they've adapted, but when it first came out, it didn't just affect the plumbers, right? Now it affected developers, where they thought having a 11-inch deck to deck, they could do it and still get the ceiling heights. Nope. So now you got to pour the decks further apart to get the ceiling heights that are sellable. Lots of people complained, but eventually it just became the norm, right? And that's what we're talking about today is, I just moved. We have a new studio. we're going to have a new sound. I'm going to have a new office. It's thrown me off because I've had to like try to trade for my phone because I had to move, and it just knocks you off your norm. Some people never recover from that change because to really adapt to these big changes, it's a process. How I would put that in trading, it could be something as changing your monitor. Now the charts look different. Changing platforms. We have a guy in our channel, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. We're going to beat up on you a little bit. But Brandon loves his broker, loves the platform.
And we love Brandon.
But Brandon's struggling because he can't get really wants to hook up my FX books. He's married himself to his broker's platform, and it's a struggle to get my FX books with that broker or that platform or however. All of us other traders in the channel, we talk MT4 language and my FX book links. We love to share our links to prove that we're not just full of shit. And Brandon struggles because he really wants to make that change, but he knows he's going to have to go through a period of being uncomfortable. Trading's not immune to that PEX pipe change that all plumbers had to go through.
PEX, poly cross-linked ethylene.
Right. When it first hit the market, everyone thought it would be the next polybutylene lawsuit. But now it's just kind of like the standard. In commercial plumbing, we use PEX for like the end wall. Say I'm building a hotel. I'll run copper or even CPVC hit the market, but a lot of people are finding its strengths and weaknesses. You'll stub out, you'll get to the manifold, and then I love PEX from the manifold to the fixture. Saves time. You don't have fittings. It's relatively a decent product, but it took a while for people to learn what its strengths and weaknesses are. It's just like when you learn a new trading strategy. It's uncomfortable. It might be a little different than the one that you were using, but there's a reason why you seeked out a new strategy, because the one you were using wasn't working, or you thought it wasn't working. We're always adapting to changes. New strategy, new monitor. Oh, my computer crashed. I got to buy a new computer, but it has Windows 19 on it, and you're used to Windows 10. And no, they don't have Windows 19 yet. Matt, I saw your face. You're like, what? Am I behind? How many people have gotten a new iPhone and they're like, fuck, where's the camera? Oh, it's always changing, always adapting. The markets. I know people who were avid British pound US dollar traders. Only pair they traded. Then Brexit came along. Fucked their whole world all up. And then, some of them don't trade anymore. They're like,
still is.
Yeah. Fuck. I used to be able to do this. I had a strategy that I loved with the USD peso. Every
USD MXN.
I'll tell you my strategy. I would see what the USD peso would do in the London session. It usually would trend pretty nicely up or down. And then 45 minutes to half hour before the US session opened, I would strategize. And it would work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays only. And if it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's trending long, I would short it a half hour before. And then right when the US session would open, you would, with a 92% win rate, you get 50, 60 pips. While in the USD Mexican peso, it's 500 or 600 pips because it's calculated different. And it was like, man, I'm going to retire on this strategy. And then good old Trump gets in office and starts talking about the wall, and it's gone. Strategy's gone. Doesn't happen no more. So it's like, do you quit trading or do you adapt? And hopefully by the time you realize that it's not working anymore, you didn't lose everything you won from it. That's just trading. And, you know, if you pick too precise of a strategy like that, one pair, one time a day, you know, who knows why it worked for so long? Maybe it's all the bankers woke up in New York and were like, okay, they have to do deals because let's just face it, Mexico's economy is really a cousin of the U.S. economy, right? You're not selling, the biggest economy in the world's your neighbor. So you're selling us avocados, you're selling us tequila, you're selling us, every export. Car parts.
Luggage.
Cars, right? Like Ford and some of these places moved their operations down there.
Samsonite? It's right here on the bag.
Good old Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorite movies of all time. It took a lot of time back testing and seeing that move. But when it's gone, do you just throw your hands in the air and quit? Or do you adapt, find a new one? Another big change traders go through that they struggle is when your balance changes, up or down. The harder one to deal with is when you shoveled out 10 grand in your life, you hid it from your wife, whatever you did to get it, drove DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever. You got 10 grand. You've been listening to this show. You know, whatever brought you to trading. You got this dream that you're going to take that 10 grand and you are going to make 10% a week. And it's going to be this amazing thing. And then you gouge out half of it. Now it's 5 grand. Well, that change, you have to adapt to new position sizes, volume of trades. I will tell you, there's a huge difference between trading a $5,000 account and a $10,000 account. Just in the fact of oftentimes on a $10,000 account, I'm still trading micro lots. I'd for sure on my robot accounts. So then if you have a $5,000 account and you're trading micro lots, your risk is double. You just doubled the risk because of the minimum trade size. So if you don't adapt the volume at what you're trading, you could take that $5,000 account and it's going to shrink a lot easier than that $10,000 account. So there's always these changes that are coming at us, whether it be in our personal lives, whether it be with the equipment we're using, whether it be you just changed jobs. And I know you're not like heavy into trading, right? Because you keep wanting me to you keep wanting to copy my trades. You want to relinquish the ownership. You're like, hey man, you made 20% in the last 5 weeks. My account didn't.
Allied FX administration is a whole job in itself.
I know.
You don't. You're you, bud. Have you worked with you?
Well, dude, I've done administration.
Have you worked with you?
I live with me.
Uh-huh. Have you worked with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're full of shit. You haven't.
Yeah, but I'm not that difficult to work with. But yeah, I mean, the change, whatever it is, you have a kid. Matt had a kid this year. We didn't find out about it till
episode 26.
Till she was already here. But, that's Matt's candor, I guess. What if you blew your knee out? How does that affect your trading? It's going to, because trading is one of the most mental endeavors someone can do. I remember when I was a young lad, I think I was probably already a journeyman plumber, but I had a boss who had to have knee surgery. And that knee surgery helped launch my career because he was one of those micromanager bosses. So he had knee surgery and we were on a high rise And, Skip was shoddy. Skip is the elevator.
What's a high rise? How many floors is a high rise?
I think minimum? In Denver, it has to be over a certain amount of feet, which is right around 6 stories. We used to consider high rise because the smoke control rules change. If it's considered a high rise, now it's a lot more in depth mechanical wise. You have to pressurize the floor above and below a floor. Alarm gets pulled, a fire alarm. And you got to pressurize stairwells, the fire exits. I mean, it's amazing how many people work and live in buildings and have no idea the amount of effort or technology goes into fire safety. The penetrations from floor to floor have to be filled with firecock. I wish I bought stock in it in the early 90s because it's very expensive. Usually give it to your lowest paid idiot on the job, and then you fail inspections, and then you start going, maybe we need a firecock foreman. But it's big business. Considered high rise, mechanically the number skyrockets because now, you use the equipment that gives you air conditioning and heat. When it goes into fire mode, it ramps up the fan, and then dampers open and shut and pressurize certain areas of the building.
Dampers look like blinds, right?
Yeah. And, that all has to be wired.
They're just blades that regulate the flow.
Right. Or divert flow. And then, a fire damper.
Another way to think of a damper is in your car when you open and shut your air conditioning.
Right. Or your wife's like, I don't like the cold air blowing on me, and she shuts it.
Right. Those are dampers.
So now a fire damper is specific damper. Only when it reaches a certain temperature, a link will melt and it shuts it off. Because we all know what happens when you blow on a fire. So typically a fire damper would be on a service, a duct line servicing an area that the air handler can't turn off. So therefore you got to shut off the service to that area.
So this guy has screwed up knees.
He has knee surgery, and now he cannot make it on the floor as often. He has to rely on his crew. Him getting knee surgery changes his behavior, which launches me into I need to be more responsible, and I get that chance, right? It's almost like there used to be a quarterback for the Patriots named Drew Bledsoe, and they had an awesome year. And I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way, but they're going to playoffs. Last game of the regular season, blows his knee out. Everyone's pissed. This is our year to take the Super Bowl, and now we're over. Well, a guy named Tom Brady comes in, destroys it, right? Wins the Super Bowl. You'd never hear of Drew Bledsoe again.
He went to Dallas.
Yeah, but did he do anything?
It's Dallas, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Bledsoe, to me, is the guy that blew his knee out who launched Tom Brady.
In your scenario, you're Tom Brady? That's cute.
Exactly.
All right.
I can't believe I said that. But one little butterfly effect change launches that guy's career. But the point I'm trying to make is all these changes that we get uncomfortable with, like me moving, new office, it can be a bad thing, but it can also be a really good thing. And how you switch that is in your mind. If you are so married to it being a bad thing, it will be a bad thing. Now, when you have money on the line, like trading, it's just like my plumbing days. When we decided we're going to start using PEX, did we have the greatest production numbers that we have today with PEX? No. I remember my first PEX job. I ran it just like copper. I cut 90s in. I tried to make it straight. I drove myself crazy It's in your name. You're a plumber. Pipe must be plumb. So the strapping is a lot different with PEX. You guys strap it a lot more than copper. You know, there's pros and cons. If you were slow at getting strapping in, it's going to mess you up. You know, and I remember that first project, thousands of 90s and couplings, just like you would a normal. The next job, I started going, why am I even cutting 90? The shit bends, you know, but it looks like shit. So is that adapting? And then, you know, you eventually, like today, we could run 50, 60 feet an hour per man hour, which copper 16 feet per man hour was fucking kicking ass. So then now all of a sudden you can run at 60 feet. It's cheaper product. It still gets the job done. When I build my house, I'm doing copper. Sorry. But for production, for owning the plumbing company, for a developer who's just building a hotel and needs to get it done a year sooner so you get revenue, it's great product. To relate that to trading, if you're going through a big change, don't expect the same production. But know in the long run, it will be better. Lower your position size. Lower your volume of trading while you're filling out that new laptop, or you're filling out that new office, or your workload changed at your real job if you're not a full-time trader. Give yourself a little bit of space. Too many people have an amazing month or a year trading, something changes, and they just try to get back on that horse, grind it, and, you know, and then they gouge out 25% of their account. It's just like this week. We had an amazing week last week in the Journeyman channel, over 10% with one open trade. And I know historically the week after is always tough. And I really, really tried not to make that happen again. And, you know, we started out the week 3% ahead. I should have hung it up. I should have said, hey, I'm going to be moving. A lot's going to be changing. But I planted some seeds, and they absolutely did not work out. And then I let that drawdown or that stress, like, hey, I'm going to be moving the next 2 days. I better set a stop loss where normally I wouldn't, because my back's not against the wall. I have plenty of free margin. This thing could go another 50, 60 pips before I'm even stressed. But I was like, but I can't watch the charts like I normally can. So better just put a stop loss way over here. I'll feel safe when I have it. Well, guess what? Shot down in a little spurt of hell. Perfectly hit my stop loss. Almost like my order getting filled is what reversed it. And we all know that feeling. Like, fuck, am I the only one trading? Some days it feels like it's just me and the guy taking the other trade. And as soon as I hit my stop loss, boom. And then 45 minutes later in the channel, Brandon and everyone's like, look, and just like that, we're back. And I'm like, fuck.
What pair was that?
Euro AUD.
Oh,
our favorite
what
pair.
is it with the Euro AUD?
I don't know.
You know what? Just lay off it.
We're gonna give the Euro AUD a timeout.
Yeah.
Although I really don't like picking favorite pairs and picking like a lot in the channel this week. I just don't trade the US pairs no more.
We saw a lot of that. A lot of,
right.
Nope, I'm good. All right.
And you know what's weird is that is all psychological.
But I absolutely understand it.
Right.
I'll give you a great example of that. When I gamble, I do not gamble on Colorado or Texas teams. The Colorado teams, because I obviously have a bias and I'm rooting for them, and I can't be smart about it. And the Texas teams, because in my betting career, I've gotten smoked every time. So I get it. I completely empathize with that.
So do you know how many people I know that play roulette and they just out of spite will not bet on the 0 or 00 because too many times the 0 00 has wiped them out, right? Because you think it's 50-50 odds, black or red, odd or even. No, those damn 0 and 00.
The green.
Yeah. So they've created this bias of hate towards it. So they can't get on the team with it. Right. And it's just like, it's crazy when you break it down. You're like, it's just a fucking different color and a number, dude. Yeah, but fuck that 00. It's kicked me in the balls so many times. I'm not switching teams. And I'm like, I look at the 0, putting a 5 on it. I'll place bets on my favorite numbers and stuff, right? But I'll also put the little insurance chip on that. What's really stupid about that even is I'll put $100 out on numbers just in the off chance I hit a number. But my little insurance chip on the 00, well, at least I didn't lose everything. You get $5 for losing $100. It's the same thing in trading. People get their favorite pairs, or they have this pair they hate, and it's really all driven because of the memory, right? They have, like we just talked about it, the Euro AUD. Must be my strategies, must be the way I think about it, but I could have been out of this damn trade 10 times now, where I've planted good rollovers, but I just play it too tight because I have that history with this pair. And I'm like, okay, my rollover's in profit. It's not in a lot of profit. And I think I planted a good seed. I just got to give it room and let this thing go home. But then I go, oh, I could just put a risk free. Let me put the stop loss at break even. And what it is the AUD is very volatile. I mean, in the Sydney, if you look at the AUD and the NZD in the Sydney session, it's volatile. And I know this. So why do I put the damn stop loss tight going into the Sydney session when I know you can get some arbitrary, the RBC rates, and then you're out. But long-term, or technically speaking, it's going to go back to the pivot or back to the 200 EMA or back to some resistance or support level that you're eyeballing. It's just that mental game that goes on. And yes, that pair has screwed me more than any other pair. And because I'm such a technical trader and don't remember problems that long or hold on to grudges, I always find myself in this pair and this trouble. More or less, it's just maybe this pair doesn't jive with my trading strategies as well, but it's always technically showing good signs. So that's where I have to adapt. And not that I hate the pair, I just have to adapt to that pair's movements a little bit better. I know a lot of people that just stay the hell away from USD CAD. I personally have a really good win rate on that pair, but I don't trade it very often. That's a pair I wait for it to reach a daily or weekly support and resistance before I even look at it.
Isn't CAD oil heavy?
CAD is known for its correlations with oil. However, the recent years, the Trump years, the U.S. becoming the world's largest exporter of oil, that correlation is kind of gone to the wayside. It's still there. However, every Forex trader who's been doing this long enough still has that in his head. But when something becomes so known, it starts to veer off. It's like that lesson I teach people where when something in Forex, or maybe it works this way in equities, but when something is so freaking obvious, the Feds are going to raise rates for sure today. We know they are. We got to slow this economy down or fucking inflation, right? With something so obvious. And then they raise rates, which should devalue the dollar. It shoots up 100 pips.
Interest rates. we've been talking about quantitative easing for a while.
It's amazing how dovish and hawkish.
Well done.
Right? I remember when we first started the auto copy.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, how do we slow down the American economy? How do, we got to get rates higher. And it was like, are they going to raise rates and kill this amazing progress we're making?
I think it was in Ghostbusters when Dan Aykroyd's character takes out a mortgage or a second mortgage at 17 or 18%. Now, in the 80s, I didn't quite understand that, but...
Oh, dude, I touched the table.
But having watched it again in the last 10 years, 17% interest on a mortgage is... Oh. Anyway, it was in the 90s that Japan had negative interest rates. And we've talked about how it's part of Japanese culture. It's dishonorable to depend on somebody else, which, frankly, I wish it were the same here. Well, England, unfortunately, is considering negative interest rates. Now, what that does, okay, is it encourages banks to discourage savings of its customers by penalizing having money in savings. So you would pay a premium for being responsible. This punishes people for saving money by making money so cheap to get that they're going to penalize you for having it stocked up.
So basically, they don't want you to stockpile it.
Because they want you to spend it, because they want you to stimulate it. And I think it should be the opposite. Of course, what do I know? I didn't go to Oxford. I'm no economist. I'm certainly not of that ilk. But as a basic businessman, I know that cash is king, right?
Right.
And when you have an abundance of cash, you're much more likely to spend it on things that you don't need. And when you do spend it on things that you need, you spend more of it because you can afford it, because you want to buy quality. And I think we can all relate to that when we're cash poor versus when we're,
Yeah, I mean, how many times we're all guilty of it? You get a bonus, get your tax return. I mean, just look at what a big business tax return is. It's almost like a game now. Give them back their taxes, and then they're going to go buy something, and then we're going to get 7% sales tax on it.
Right.
So we're getting 7% of what and it's become a huge marketing, like here in Denver, American Furniture always does this. Come get that couch that you always wanted now that you got your tax returned. I'm sure brokers are like, add to that brokerage account now that you got your tax return. Although I don't really think brokers could advertise directly. That's why you always see it. It's always coming from some second party. I use IG brokers, giving you don't really see Oanda on the Super Bowl. Start an FX account today. Like you can see Ameritrade, or remember when Scott Trade came out? It's got the helicopter. You don't see FX brokers doing that. Mostly because I think they're regulated different. That's why we use an introducing broker. Full disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with a broker and don't claim to be a broker because there's some weird rules about talking about brokers.
I'm proud to say that we are now getting attention of scammers and of spammers. Oh, yeah. The Day Trading Plumber Forex community channel on Telegram, which is free to everybody, it's a pretty cool channel. It's been popping lately. We just started up last week. And everybody's pretty cool. But every once in a while we get somebody who comes in, sits there for a minute, and then spams his bullshit signal service or whatever he's doing, and then he gets out. Well, I gotta tell you, it's a lot of fun to ban them and kick them and report them as spam. Now, I'm not sure how Telegram...
Professional.
Right.
Remember, you're like, welcome, professional.
And then he spams us. And then I went off to a meeting, and I come back, and he's been kicked. And
I was like, did he just put it... it's always the same shit.
Right. And I also had an exchange with a guy on LinkedIn today who asked me if I'm a trader. And I said, I'd copy my buddy's signals. He's like, oh, what do you get? Oh, 1% a week is what we've been averaging. And he's like, oh, I get 10%. And then I just blasted him. I said, oh, that's cool. Show me your FX book. What kind of drawdown do you have? And he didn't respond. And I said, that really screwed up your script, huh? I think it's some sort of validation. They're trying to steal our attention that we're getting.
Well, I've noticed LinkedIn. I'm starting to get the shit I get in IG on in Instagram.
But LinkedIn has a report spam block. It's a whole thing.
Yeah,
because they do not want that at all.
They don't
on their
get
platform.
very far.
No.
I'm starting to get the DMs. Hello.
Yep.
And on LinkedIn, LinkedIn, I've never had a problem. It's like, hey, but it's the same script. So you get that feel like, am I on Instagram?
Right.
And you're like, oh, I'm on LinkedIn. So, yeah, dude, what's up? Where are you from? Oh, fuck. Not on here. I'm like, are you a real person? Are you? Why would you say that?
And as a purchasing agent, as soon as I get the hello, the first thing I say is, oh boy, here comes the pitch. Because with my title, I get pitched all the time.
Do you like elongated toilet flanges? I was telling Matt when he got here today, because I know he's purchasing plumbing parts. My new townhouse that I moved into has the non-elongated toilets.
Round is what we call them.
Round. And it's been a good decade since I've gone number 2 on a round toilet. And I'm going to say, it feels like I'm sitting on a coffee can. All right, I'm going to have to change this or, back to change. Either change it or get used to it. I'm a big guy, and sitting on a coffee can doing my business, it's not going to be comfortable. So we'll just have to see. So now that I'm going to be in my new office, I'm going to set it up to be a little more video
appropriate.
I'm going to pay a little bit more attention with the backdrop because, I'm still shooting these courses, and I don't want to just have a curtain in the background.
That's a curtain on the 6x4 rolling whiteboard that we use. Yeah. I'm
going to spend a lot more time with backdrop, spend a little bit more time on, making the YouTube channel a little bit more YouTube-ish. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it because I think YouTube, who knows, maybe one day you'll turn on your Roku TV and there'll be the Day Trading Plumber channel. There's a lot of fun ways we could go with the YouTube channel. So, that's exciting.
If you'd like to help,
reach out.
We can exchange services.
I know there's some really creative YouTubers out there just doing my Sunday setups and doing my midweek review. I'm getting I think I just broke 200 subscribers. I'd love a lot more. Help me out here.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next week.
Over and out.
If you'd like to learn more about Clayton Signals, please visit www.allenfx.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram @OFPMatt.